All right, so today we're going to discuss about writing factors of a number. Writing factors of a number. Now, a factor is a number that can get into a number without leaving a remainder. A number that can get into another number without leaving a remainder. Like, for instance, you can have 4 dividing into 24 6 whole times. So sometimes they may ask you in the exam to write factors of a number. So you want to make sure that you do not omit or you do not make the mistake of leaving out a factor. Now you have to, for instance, we may have in this case 32. Now 32 is an even number, so you may have to consider from numbers from 1 up to 16. All right, you have to consider. It's not that every number between 1 and 16 gets into 32, but this is the surefire way of making sure that you write all the factors of a number. So you say 1 into 32. Now 1 is a factor of every number, so 1 gets into 32 times. Now you consider, what about 2? Then you consider 2. Yes, 2 can get into 32 how many times? 16 times. You see? Then you have to consider 3. Then you realize that 3 doesn't get into 32. You move on to 4. And obviously, if you know your times table, you definitely know that 32 won't be a multiple of 3. Then you get into 4 how many times? 4 gets into 32 8 times. Then the numbers between 4 and 8, definitely you try 5, 6, and 7. And notice that you fill the gaps, you fill the space in this manner. And therefore, you realize that there is no other number between 16 and 32 that can divide into 32 without leaving a remainder. Okay, now let's try 78. When you try 78, you do the same thing. 1 into 78, how many times? 78 times. Now there was a reason why we said consider, especially for an even number, 1 up to half of that number. So I believe that here is 1 up to 39. But it doesn't mean that every number between 1 and 39 is a factor. As long as you know the multiples, you definitely know that some numbers, 78 is not a multiple of certain numbers. So you're then going to say 2 into 78. Definitely you will get what? 39. You try 3. I believe that 3 can get into 78. So when you divide 3 into 78, I'm sure we will get something. And then you get something like 26. So if you say 3 into 78, you will get 26. We might want to consider 4 if we can get something like that, but definitely 4 may actually not be a factor of 78. When you go to 5, you will not get that. And then you try 6, you might want to try 6. And when you try 6, you realize that 6 gets into 78 13 times. And then you might want to try any other number in between, but definitely you will not see any number, because I don't recall 7 being a factor of 78. I don't recall 8 being a factor of 78, no 9, no 10, no 11 or 12. So as a result, these are all of the factors of 78. We may also want to try an odd number. Obviously, we know that 22.5 is midway or probably half of 45, but normally these numbers don't really have a lot of factors. But you are considering 1 up to 22.5, but definitely 22.5 won't be a factor, so you don't have to worry yourself much about that. So you try 1 into 45, then you get yourself what? 45. You try 2, you realize that that can't happen. But when you move on to 3, you realize that it's 15 times. 4, you realize that can't happen, but the moment you move to 5, you will get 9 times. Now this is how you write all the factors of a number without leaving anything out, so that you don't miss out any marks.